To the absolute opposite end of the spectrum, and that would be the Lakers. And a crazy day yesterday that all started here at the Seaport. Magic Johnson on First Take with Stephen A. and Max and Molly, and he did not hold back.
I think if you're going to talk betrayal, it's only with Rob. I start hearing, Magic, you're not working hard enough. Magic's not in the office. So people around the Laker office was telling me Rob was saying things, and I didn't like those things being said behind my back, that I wasn't in the office enough and so on and on. So I started getting calls from my friends outside of basketball saying those things now were said to them outside of basketball. When I took the job, you know how many agents called me and said, you got to watch out for him. And I said, I got to give the guy a fair chance. I can't listen to people. And so, but he was a hard worker, smart guy. But now you have that position. So I'm good with that.
Well, this wasn't good because on the same day that Magic Johnson made those comments, these two guys, that's Rob Pelinka now on the left and that's Frank Vogel on the right, had a news conference to introduce Vogel as the new coach of the Lakers. Timing of that literally couldn't have been worse. So, of course, a lot of the questions were to Pelinka about what Magic said. Here was his response.
I think the most important thing for me is the 2 years of getting to work side by side with Irvin are some of the greatest memories I have in sports and work. He's an unbelievable person to work with. He fills the room with joy and vision. And truly it's saddening and disheartening to think he believes things are a misperception. I look forward to the opportunity to talk with him and sit down with him and work through them, just like in any relationship, because they're just simply not true.
I just wrote down the words, he fills the room with joy and vision. That on the day that Magic Johnson just called you a snake in front of the entire world, you just said he fills the room with joy and vision.
He took the high road. We're going to talk about this. He took the high road. Now, there are times when you should not necessarily take the low road, but you need to fire a shot back. Right? You don't have to air all of your dirty laundry.
Why you look forward to talking to him? You don't have his number?
I look forward to, this was the first conversation.
Go on with that thought, because I know where you're going.
The fakeness of it all. Just the fakeness of the response from Rob Pelinka. And then Magic, we can't absolve Magic of anything
at all. No.
That's not what we're doing. But for Rob Pelinka to sit there and so graciously say how great Magic Johnson was, you know why Magic Johnson's great? Because you in this spot.
Yeah.
That's it. Your plan came together. That was your plan.
And saying this, living in LA, knowing Luke Walton, knowing LeBron James, working around the Lakers and just understanding what's going on there, I'll tell you the two things that need to happen, maybe three. Magic Johnson needed to step down. It happened. Rob Pelinka needs to go. Jeannie Buss now needs to go you see all of these, Tim Connelly interviewing with the Wizards. You see David Griffin getting picked up by the Pelicans. You see all of these great basketball minds that have done this in their entire lives and worked for 25 or 30 years in this league. Someone needs to come in and step in. And then you need to take all of these master of whispers and all these things. You need to get all of these people gone and just have one direct voice. Until Jeannie Buss does this, they will continue to struggle.
Well, I think when you look at their history, when they had Jerry West there and they had Mitch Kupchak, the Lakers are a different organization, similar to the Celtics. The Celtics have Danny Ainge. You need someone like that to be there. It's a different challenge. It's not like all the other jobs in the league.
Yeah.
Well, you need someone who understands the Lakers and what it means to be with that organization. That's a different job. There's a lot that goes into it. So it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds.
Look, I think that the blame starts at the top.
Yes.
Because what everyone is saying here is that the structure doesn't make sense, and there's only one person who's responsible for the structure. So when you're saying you need one person at the top to have their voice be heard, that means that we can't be hearing from Kobe's agent, and we can't be hearing from Phil Jackson, and we can't be hearing from Kurt Rambis, and we can't be hearing from Linda Rambis, and we can't have Magic Johnson say, I wanted to do this, but then I came in and they told me that I can't do it. She hired Magic Johnson to do a job and then didn't let him do do the job. Magic Johnson may not have handled his exit exactly right, but he was 100% right to walk out the door.
I was so critical of Magic and Rob all year long. And I said, if you want to know how the Lakers were run, look at how Magic left. I was very, very critical of Magic Johnson. Yesterday, I have to take some of my criticism back because I understand. Look, Luke Walton grew up with the guy, one of my best friends. If you want to fire him because you want to go do your way, look, I understand that. I will respect you. This is not because of any relationship. It's just because he did it the best way.
Let's play that because we keep alluding to it. For those of you who didn't get a chance to see the interview, I mean, it was an hour yesterday, and it was candidly, it was awesome. It was riveting anyway. But here's the part where he talked about Luke Walton, who is now the former coach of the Lakers, and how that factored into Magic's decision to quit.
The straw that broke the camel's back was I wanted to fire Luke Walton. And we had max 3 meetings. So when we went back and forth like that, and then she brought Tim Harris into the meeting, you know, when I looked up and said, wait a minute, I only really answer to Jeannie Buss. Now I got Tim involved. I told them when it's not fun for me, when I think that I don't have the decision-making power that I thought I had, then I got to step aside.
Look, this isn't complicated because we can debate all day long whether Luke Walton did a good job or not.
Yes.
But that isn't the point.
That's not the point.
If you give Magic Johnson the job as being the president of basketball operations and he says, I want to fire the coach, and you don't let him, then he has to walk out the door.
He has to go. And that's one of the things, again, I was critical of him. But you said, I have these meetings and then Tim Harris comes in. We hear about all of these names. At the end of the day, there needs to be one name. Magic Johnson wants to do it his way. He should do it his way. Was I a fan of this? Was I a fan of the way they did free agency this year? Was Magic, should we absolve Magic of that? No. But at the end of the day, it's not all on him. He thought he was going to have more control and wasn't able to run the team.
Gee, leadership ain't for everybody.
Nope.
I mean, we've had that conversation a lot when we talk about football. Like, you can't just ordain people as leaders. Right now, Jeannie Buss is not a leader. I mean, look, she's the owner of a team, and I know Dr. Buss handed that off to his children, but she's not leading right now. She's allowing a conglomeration of people to be in her ear. And anytime you have somebody in the ultimate position of power and you're letting other people influence your decision making, when you've already sort of delegated power to certain individuals, you will always have a terrible organization. And here's the great thing about sports. When it's dysfunctional in the front office, it's going to be dysfunctional on the field of play.
Yeah.
It's going to be dysfunctional within that organization and how they show up. So it's difficult for me to absolve any fault from Jeannie Buss because she's the one that ultimately draws the gavel.
Look, when things go this badly as this has gone, there's more than enough blame to go around for everyone. That's clear. But if you're looking at one place that the buck stops, I believe it's the very top. Now, you, Coach Tibbs, have worked in a lot of different organizations, some very successful, some not so successful. Is the thread of commonality one vision, one voice, one person that is, for better or worse, everyone is following that person's lead?
And I think Magic was saying that. He was hired to be the president of basketball operations. He's the basketball expert. It should be his voice to Jeannie. And that should be the person they're relying on the most. And you see that with Pat Riley, with Mickey Arison. You see that Danny Ainge with the ownership in Boston. I think the successful teams, they do it that way. If you start listening to a lot of different people with different agendas, you're going to get off course. Great leadership provides order. And you need strong leadership.
Greg Popovich is another obvious example in the NBA and many others.
Agenda.
Yeah.
Like, Rob Pelinka's agenda was to be the president of basketball operations.
And if Magic's not there.
I'm telling you, when you listen to Magic talk and when you listen to Rob Pelinka's response, Rob Pelinka responded like, I'm sitting in the exact position I wanted to be in.
Can I throw a slight curveball into this conversation and say something controversial? They're this close to getting it turned around. And I'll tell you why.
That's the frustration. That only adds frustration.
Because basketball is the one place I can think of, the one sport at least, where one person can turn everything around. And they have that person. They have LeBron James. So assuming LeBron comes back healthy and motivated, they have the best player in the league. They're one great player away from turning it completely back on their side. The question is, can they get that player? Can they somehow talk Kawhi Leonard? It can't be, with all due respect to these guys, it can't be someone like Bradley Beal or Jimmy Butler. But if they can somehow convince Kawhi Leonard, or I'll even say Kyrie
Greeny,
Irving,
it's more than one.
It's more than one. But they have a bunch of good young players. If they can talk one of these free agents into coming, they got a bunch of good young guys there.
All right, so say you send one of the great players with him next year. Line them up against Golden State.
Well, if Kevin Durant doesn't leave Golden State, no one is. You have to go back and get the '96 Bulls to play them. But if you take Kevin Durant off Golden State, and I've got LeBron, I'm just making this up, LeBron and Kawhi, and I've got, you don't lose anybody because he's a free agent. So I've got Kyle Kuzma, and I've got Josh Hart, and I've got Lonzo Ball, or maybe you trade him because he and LeBron don't fit together. I got a shot. I'll take my chances with LeBron James.
I know Kevin Love was in Cleveland, but it was Kyrie and LeBron that beat Golden State.
Yes.
I mean, it was those two players together with some role guys are good enough.
But there were other factors in that, too.
Because I keep hearing it. I keep hearing all y'all say this, too, which is really pissing me off. KD, Giannis, Kawhi, these are the best players in the world. LeBron James is still the best player in the NBA. Like, I know everybody's a creature of what we're watching now. LeBron James still went for 28 in probably the worst possible situation you could go through as a basketball player. So let's not be so quick. We've seen him go to 8 straight finals. Like, everybody has forgotten that. But LeBron with another All-Star is different than anybody else with another All-Star.
If he is still that, then I believe you were 100% right. No. Meanwhile, as we continue, no KD, no Boogie, no problem. Are these Golden State Warriors the best team we've seen in our lifetime? Jalen Rose answers that question and many others as he joins us live next. And some more football. Ben Roethlisberger says he and AB are cool. AB doesn't think so. Wait till you hear the 2 words he had in response, and they're safe for TV. So you will hear them next.